This channel highlights untold stories.
Hey guys, welcome to our second video in Adobe After Effects 2020. So today we're going to learn on Adobe After Effects interface, and as you can see on your screen, this is the Adobe After Effects interface. It's very simple. Adobe After Effects, the first version was introduced in the year 1995, and the interface has not changed that much compared to the interfaces that we have today and the previous interface. As you can see, Adobe After Effects, we're going to show you different panels, and today we're going to show you 5 panels of Adobe After Effects. So for the beginners who are joining us today, or the first beginners who are joining us for the first time, we want to show you how the panels work and how the panels are called and the work of these panels. So let us start from showing you how the panels work and the work of these panels. As we demonstrated in the last video, this is the Adobe After Effects, and the version that we're using here can only be seen from the top here. This is Adobe After Effects 2020. So I will start by showing you different panels of Adobe After Effects. So this panel here, as you can see, is called a project panel. So before I start, I will create a composition. A composition is just like an artboard to those who have used Photoshop and Illustrator. So I will create my artboard by going to New Composition and giving it a name. I will give it a name. Let me give it a name. Second project. And after that, I will leave the display to 1920, the resolution to 1920 by 1080. That is width of our video and height of our video. Then I will choose the background color of our working area to white, but you can change it to your own color after you've saved it. After that, I will click on OK, and my display color is color white. If you want your display color to be color red, go back to composition, go to composition setting, and straight down to your background color and choose it to be red, and click OK, and it will turn to red. But for me, I want to use white composition, so I will Ctrl Z to go back to my white composition. So let me start by showing you. This panel here is called project panel, and from the project panel, this is where you will place or store, also known as, you can also call it gallery, where you can save whatever you want to use in your project. You can save your videos in the project panel, you can save your images, you can save your text in the project panel, you can save shapes, and also save audios on your project panel. In the project panel here, you will also need to import projects or objects that you are going to use. So for instance, in the project panel, you will import images or videos. I will right click, then go to import. Then I will import files. So I will import images, as many images as I want. So I will click on images, highlight on them, then import, or you can click on one image. So they will import all these images on the project panel. As you can see, I've imported so many images, and by click you can see on top here they are changing. This is the work of project panel. I can also import video. So I'll go to project panel and import a file. I will go straight to video and import this video that I did sometimes back, and import a video. So we'll see I've imported a video and images. So in the project panel, you can see the more you have so many images and video, then in the project panel your work looks disorganized. So for you to organize your work in the project panel, you will need to go on the bottom of the project panel here and click on the create new folder. Of course, we know folders are used to store documents, And in this format here, for you to be able to identify where you've set your projects or images or videos, you will need to arrange your images or your footages or your gallery accordingly. So I'll click on the folder and name it img, meaning images, and I will click on all images here, and I will drag them into image folder, and now they are inside image folder. As you can see, if I click, they are inside. If I click, outside, inside. So I will also create another folder and name it videos, and take my video and drop it inside. And now you can see we don't have so many things in our project panel. It is now well organized. You can also organize your project panel as mine. You can also create another project and name it composition, but for now I will show you later why we need to create a folder for composition. Now with this project here, project panel here, you can see we have our images here, we have our video folder. Now from our video folder, that is how the project panel is used. You will use it to import all the things that you want to work with on your project. So down here we have a panel also called timeline, which is from left to going all the way to right side. So for project timeline panel, you is the working area. So this is where you will get all the folders that you are working with. Not all the folders per se, sorry for that, but all the layers. Just as Photoshop, you have layers. Also in the Adobe After Effects, you also need to have layers, and the layers that you will create will come, they are objects that will come from the project panel. So let's start by bringing images, and if you will need to drag an image downwards to your timeline. You can see I have the image. By releasing the image, I have created the folder. This is the folder, and from the folder panel you can disable an eye, which means if you've disabled an eye, you will not see the video on this panel here, which I will talk about. So if you have enabled the video, the image I say, you will see the image. Now from the timeline panel, you can also see the name of the image that you're using. If you want to change the name of the image, you will need to right click on the name and rename. I will name it img1, img1, then click outside, then we have img1. So you can see from the project panel, these are what we call layers. So we have layer 1 already, as you can see indicated layer 1. If I drag another video, another image, then you can see this is layer 2. I can also rename it. You don't have to rename it per se, but you can decide to leave it like that, or decide to, I will name it img2, img2. And from the layer panel, we now have two layers. Now from the layer panel, you can see we have this, we have current timeline here. The timeline counter always counts the layer that is on top of each other. The layer that is on top is the layer that will display. As you can see today, when I come and place my mouse on top of this, it will enable me to bring the layer on top of this. So you can see my image here, and if I bring the indicator on top of this one, it will indicate the layer that is on top. So as we can see, the layers are now working on the timeline, and the timeline will show the layer that is on top, and that is why you get, when the timeline is running, here, according to the way you placed your layers, it will count the layer that is on top of each other. That is the motion that will happen in the timeline. And now on the timeline panel, let me zoom. You can see the zoom panel here. You can decide to zoom it, the layers to be smaller. You can zoom the layers to be bigger if you want to see them in seconds. You can see from time ruled. This is now the time. You can click it to see seconds. You can see seconds. Let us zoom them to minutes. We can see minutes, S, and now we can see we are in seconds. We have 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds going forward. And you can see the top layer is the top layer is layer 1, and layer 1 is on top, and which means layer 1 is not visible on top. And if you want to put layer 1 visible on top, you have to drag it to the starting point. But for now, let us leave it this way. And now on the bottom side here, this is just a display to show you the interface, on how the interface will. You can see you can increase the working area, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, or also you can include some other working areas. But for me, I will disable this. I just want it to be small, as we can see. And this is now the working area, and that is how it is used. You can zoom out, and this is the timeline indicator. And if we go to the next panel, which also known as composition panel, which is the biggest panel in the composition, we can see this is the composition panel here. This is the composition panel here. You can see the way it is. This is where you will see the view of whatever you are working with, whatever layer you are working with. If we are in layer 1, the layer 1 will display on the composition panel here. This is the composition panel. With composition panel, it also have setups, whereby I will show you different setups, but some you will see in the coming videos when you are working with these videos. But the basics one that you should know is that on the magnification button here, when you click on magnification, we have percentage. Percentages are just displays of zoom, how you want the view of your composition to look like. If we click 1.1, if we click 1.5%, the display will be very smaller. If we click 3 point that, the display will increase. 6.25, it will increase. But most of the people use fit display, where you will work with a display that is fit to your composition panel. The next thing is that we have the preview time counter. When you move the indicator, you will see it will start counting the time, or the current indicator where you are. You can see it is counting. So if you want to know the current seconds where you are in on your video, or on your motion, on your timeline, you will basically need to see. Now here is 4 seconds. As you can see, it's also indicating 4 seconds. You can see this is 25 seconds. If we move it to 25 seconds here, you can see it is indicating that is 26 seconds here. You can see it will indicate 25 seconds here, 26 seconds, as you can see here. Also, you can double click and also indicate, maybe if I say 14 seconds, and place on OK, you will see the move. You will see it's coming to the 14 seconds. And also we have resolution here. Resolution is now I think we should show you this when working on the video, because it also helps you when you're working on the videos that is heavy and the video that is very light. And when you're working on the video that is very heavy, you don't need to put this into full because your machine will run very slow. If your machine is very is very has a very small RAM, that is that determines the speed of the machine. So we will put ours half because we don't have a very speedy RAM. And for the rest of the tools, we will show you while we are going on with the tools, because some we will, as a beginner, we will confuse you when we show you the rest of the tools. So let us go to the next panel, which is the work panel here. The work panel also is known as the mother of so many panels. So if you are, there are so many panels in the work panel that we'll need to use. We have information panel, we have audio panel. For this panel, you will see the controls of audio, where your audio should not reach, where audio should reach. This is the audio panel, and there are so many panels that will also help you with the audio panel. We have preview panel, where you will get different setups of the panel. We have effects panel, and with the effects panel, this is where now you will get different effects and presets of your panel. And we have align panel, and align panel is aligning center. To those who have used Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, you know about this. This is just to center align, horizontal align, and align left right alignment. We also have library on this side, and with library, you know, is a place where you store your work. And for most of the people, they store some of the things on the cloud library. And for this, they will be able, if you're using internet, you'll be able to see some of your work if you've saved them on the cloud library, trackers and all this, and brushes. And also you can also include some different work panels. Or to the panel that we are using right now is a default panel that we are working with. So we can also change the work panel to all. We will come to all panel to see all the panel that we have. Okay, remember, you can also rearrange your panel. You can also rearrange your panel like this. At one point, if you have disarranged your panel, or maybe you want to take this panel out, or you want to take this panel out, maybe at one point you got that your panel is looking this way, don't worry, just go straight to the working area and go down and reset all panels back, and it will go straight back to your default panel. On the other side, we will talk about the tool panel. From the tool panel, we have, just like to those people, I like referring to Adobe Photoshop, because most of the Adobe After Effects tools are just the same as Adobe Photoshop panels, though this is a video panel and animation panel. So some panels will not look like, because Adobe Photoshop is just an editing software that is editing still pictures, but this is editing motion pictures into motion or video. So from this panel, we have tool panel on top here, and from the tool panel we have selection. Selection will help you to move or to select objects on your tool panel, or to select images or footage on the tool panel. That is the work of selection. Hand tool will help you to move objects from one place to another. And we have zoom panel, will help you to zoom. Also by click of alt, you will zoom back. You can see, zoom in. Then take hand tool, bring it on top where you want, bring it on top onto where you want, and you can see we can still zoom it. And from this, you can see we've zoomed it out and you cannot see it. Now this is the work of sorry, if this happens, just go down here and bring it back. Okay, so I will go here to this one here until I see the panel. You can see where it is. So I will take hand tool, I will zoom it back and take hand tool and place it in the center, or also you can click on the percentage and fit it on. That is it. Also we have rotate tool, which is also used to rotate image. You can rotate your image. Let me click on the image and rotate. You can rotate your image. That is the work of rotate tool. We have camera, which will show you while we are working with camera. We have the pan tool. Pan tool is the center. It will show you the center of an object. And we have the shape tool, and this is where shapes are placed. And on the shape tool, maybe we can long press on the shape tool and have different tools. And on the shape tool, it helps us create different shapes. And we have pen tool, as you know. This is pen tool, which is also used as the same pen tool in Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop. We have a type tool, which helps us to type in typing wording. And we have the brush tool, most of the people know it, and we have the razor tool and the clone tool. So this is the panel that is also known as tools panel. Whenever tools you want to use, just like a carpenter who has tools must have hammer, must have different tools on the toolbox. Also, as a designer or as a motion designer, you need to have tools on top here. Also also with you we have another panel. We have the standard bar top panel. The standard bar top panel, we have file, edit, composition, layer, effect, animation, view, and window. The standard bar top panel here helps you to get different panels or options that you will need to use on your video. We have animations, and you will get different presets to animation, views, also zoom in, zoom out, windows. In case you've lost anything, you are not seeing anything on your window or anything on your composition panel. When you're not seeing anything on your panel, you will come to Windows and ensure that you get it here. You see the ticked icons here, or the ticked links here. This shows that the ticked how do we call them? The ticked or panels here are panels that are active. For example, we have audio here, and you can see we have audio here. When we disable audio, the audio will disappear. When we bring back audio, Windows, you can see audio is checked. Let us make it disappear. Okay, let us bring it back, audio. You can see we have audio back. So if you're not seeing anything here, ensure you go straight to Windows, then try to find it. We have effects and presets. Let us enable it. We have effects and preset. So the other panel that we show you is the different panels. We've talked about the project panel here, and we've talked about the timeline panel here. We've talked about the composition panel here. We've talked about the work panel here, and we've talked about the tool panel. So this is the interface of Adobe After Effects. And also with Adobe After Effects, you can have different default standard and formats. On this side, we can click on default and the interface will change. We can click on the LAN and the interface will change. You see, we have different interfaces. We have standard interface, and it will take us back to the first interface that we used. We have small screen interface. You can see the way it is. The presets have changed. We have library as an interface, and you see the way it looks. They are just working the same. Now it's upon you to choose the interface that is good with you. I always use default or standard. So you can either use default or standard interface. So that is how the Adobe After Effects interface look like. So let us meet in the next video as I show you how the After Effects work and how we can start using the interface. Thank you very much for this video, and I will also appreciate if you click on the subscribe button and also click on the bell button so that you will keep learning on as we continue bringing so many lessons for you. This is lesson 2. So if you want to get the third lesson, click on the subscribe button and also click on the bell button for notifications so that you will be notified when we release our third video. Also subscribe to the channel so that we will also be reminding you on whatever we are doing. Thank you very much for going through these lessons, and this is our second video, and let's meet in our third video. Bye bye.
This channel highlights untold stories in the fast-evolving techno ecosystem from the field of health, agriculture, transport and many more areas of importance to the daily lives of people around the universe. The stories are produced to promote and celebrate invention in technology, hence improving lives and bringing a positive impact to the world through showcasing skills and creativity rested in the tech environment. We focus more in technology and encourage individuals in technology. Subscribe, like and follow Techknowledge for what's happening in Kenya and to the world. Techknowledge, empowering the internet generation.